Ani Bojo, Bida Bino Nimkin Gwaginkwa, Dejnakas, translates to Morning Rainbow Woman. Makwa Dodem Ninda, I belong to the Bear Clan. With Gwemkong, Kitkanzibi, Garden River, Bawating, and Donjaba. I come from a long line of families that's come from Manitoulin Island to Garden River to being born and raised right here. We are on, well, there's many ways to describe exactly where we are. The address here is my home here at 416 Old Garden River Road, currently known as Sault Ste. Marie, but this is all Bawating territory, treaty territory. But I belong to this land, and that's how I look at it. That's why I took off my address a really long time ago also, because I don't feel that I'm a part of the corporate entities and those powers that be, and that's how I've been trying to identify myself as somebody who belongs to this territory and these lands. As it's always been told to me, this is my birthright, being a part of this territory and these trees, because this is where my ancestors come from. And so, in so many ways, that's where we are. On September 20th, my family and I, we were evicted for not paying a city tax, and it's to my understanding that as those old agreements go, that I'm not to pay any of the taxes. If anything, we're to share in those resources throughout the area, and to share and live in harmony, and that just wasn't the case that day when the sheriff and the police broke into my home. I had all the doors locked, and upon their breaking and entering, I had informed them, they're trespassing. This is treaty territory, and this is my home, and you guys don't understand what's going on here, but I'm not leaving. And then the sheriff threatened to arrest me in front of my 12-year-old son, and she threatened to have Nogdawindaman and CIS take him. And so I could tell that fear was trying to come over me, but it took everything in me to keep it together in front of my son. And I just moved past her, in between her and the city cop, and I went and laid down with my son. And he was crying at that point, and I just held him and I squeezed him, and I told him, remember Mommy was just telling you about those Indian agents coming into our homes and taking kids to residential school? I said, my son, you're part of Bawating, and you're Batchewana First Nation, and look, there's the Indian agents today trying to take you out of your home. And I just squeezed him, and I said, nobody's going to separate us. Nobody's going to take us apart. Nobody can rip us apart right now. And I held on to him. And they just stood there. And then it was a matter of moments later, I saw my brother-in-law and my cousin coming up the driveway. That's auntie and uncle to my nephew, or to my son. And he started to calm down and relax, because help was there. Family was there. And that's what it is. It took everything, to keep it together and remind myself, try to lead with a kind heart, remember those teachings, and now is not the time to for lack of a better word, I've been going through a lot of healing, and that healing come into play that day, and I managed to keep it together. And so I didn't want to leave, but I did have to, I did leave that day, and I had to regroup my thoughts, and I went to my cousin's house for a few days, and I had to figure out what was I doing, what was I going to do, because I knew this argument and this was going to happen, because I've been fighting this for such a long time, that they finally came to my door, and I thought, I was being heard, because there was letters that had come around July 2nd and August 9th that the sheriff was going to come here, and when they didn't come here on those days, I thought, okay, maybe they did hear me. And then September 20th, there wasn't anything in any of the paperwork about September 20th, so I thought I was okay. So I was caught off guard, but I ended up just putting my SEMA down and giving it to Creator, and I kept a clear mind. And on September 30th, at Truth and Reconciliation Day, I brought my feathers with me up there to speak with the mayor that day when they were raising that flag, and I explained the situation to the mayor, and he said, okay, leave it with me. And I did, and then he replied back sometime later that I had a covenant with that mortgage company that if I didn't pay my city taxes, the mortgage company, the city paid, the mortgage company they paid the city. So the city accepted that $15,000 or so of the tax. And, I was left like, what? I'm trying to explain to you, no, there's no, and it just doesn't understand, or because of all of the old agreements, they're not explained to those people in that leadership. So it's been really challenging trying to explain that to him. So I remembered my Saymon, I remembered Sacred Fire, and when we had occupied the International Bridge, I remembered TP, and I remember my sister Candace, and the stories go that, these teepees are for the people. And so I finally got it together, and I grabbed my Saymon, and I brought it to Mashomas, Clifford Walbus, and I asked him for that help in that good way, and explained to him what's going on. And he said, of course, and of course I can help you, and of course we can go set up and show support. And so what I was asking for was for an apology from that sheriff for my son, because I know a part of healing is addressing what happened, and so you can heal and move forward. But that may not happen, and that's okay. And for for that feeling of safetyness to go back into my home, like I need to feel safe going back in there, and that's where I'm at. Like was doing this in this good way, and I feel okay, and I feel good because I know that the leadership has stepped up, and the people with the education are stepping up and informing me of basically that I am right, and it's just a matter of keeping the so to speak pressure on for the education to come to these ones in the leadership so that they do understand those original agreements. And so it's up to I guess a lot of us to keep moving forward and having our rights and our birthrights acknowledged and respected, and that's what I'm here for for my children, to provide them that safe home. And it's just been so hard multitasking, because I feel like I had to set my brain to a different level, and with the emotions running high and worrying about my kids and things, it's all been put in that fire, in the sense that Creator has taken care of us in this good way, and that's how we are as people, and it is healing. And being able to do that and help downtown last week with the 2 fires, and it was amazing to see resolution come so quickly. Like, meanwhile, our city's been struggling for years with homelessness and the opioid addiction. Meanwhile, within the matter of a week, we were able to help house over 30 people, and some people don't want to struggle anymore. So it's been really great to be able to practice our ways in this way. I wish it was for different reasons right now, and just not me personally always stressing, because I'm usually the one that goes to help and goes to do things with people and stuff. But when it come down to me, it was just really hard, because standing up and all these years being ignored by Terry Sheehan and the mayor's office at City Tax Division, it's just been, that stress has been compounding all these years. But in that, wherever I am, I know that I am home on Turtle Island. Wherever I go, I'm connected to these lands and the territory and that sacred fire. I'll always have a home wherever that sacred fire goes. But I know I have to, I need to raise my family here. This is where I chose to put my metaphorical teepee, if you will, and I don't want to move. I don't want to give in. Like hearing Chief Del Riley explain things, like it's such a relief, all the work that he's done all these years. It's not for nothing. It's for this. It's to protect us, and it's very emotional listening to that and feeling that safe feeling of like, yes, it's gonna be okay. There's a fight to be had, because this is unprecedented times, and with people like such as yourself, Tom, like the way you can explain things and pull things together, it's like, that's what I was talking about. People have their roles, and when people feel their roles, it makes us like it's like the clan system. It's like a well-oiled machine moving, and like a lot of that burden isn't necessarily put on me anymore. It's people have their roles, and it's so great to see. And especially the day when we lit that fire I was at school. I was trying to finish up school, and they called me and they said that the city was trying to put out the fire, and I started panic like, no way, come on. And so I hustled back down here, and Chief Dean Sarah was standing here talking to the fire captain, and Troy Miller was here too. And Troy Miller is our police liaison. He has some of the teachings as far as walking with your SEMA and offering your SEMA. So it was great to see Dean stand up for the fire and protect that fire and explain to the city that, this is a ceremonial fire. This isn't a bonfire or a campfire. And so, again, like that, having these people stand up, and all my friends, all my warrior friends and all my warrior sisters, everybody that's been coming to the table helping, like, just, it's an unexplainable emotion. And the one day, I think it was around when we were cutting up the moose here, I was experiencing joy, but I didn't know. I was so happy. Like, I wish I kind of would have had the opportunity to always live my life this way. And there were so many people that came to help harvest that moose. It was so beautiful just to be able to. It alleviated a lot of the pressure with being here and those entities. But when that big group of people came here and we harvested that moose, it was so amazing and so meant to be. And it was great to be able to share that moose with so many people. And having my neighbors, my Iranian neighbors, Roya Kambayo, that soup, like, it was just so warming. Like, you could feel the love in this soup, like, I'm telling you. And for the people that stop, even my neighbors that I don't know, and they say they send their support and good honks. And for me personally, growing up in the city, I know the racism. I felt it, like, even on both ends. But as far as I know, I don't know if I'm in some kind of a protective bubble right now, but I haven't been seeing it face to face. And I hear it going on at the hockey games downtown and stuff. But if anything, the solution there is, like Del Riley says, education, and that is the key to this. And I'm beyond grateful, like, for the next 7 generations, having these chiefs stand up and seeing the communication happening, and especially, like, from, like I said, my friends who have this knowledge and have always been this like-minded. It's now happening where this voice is being given to not just myself, but like I'm saying, to all the other warriors, like Eshkibok, like Brendan's ideas, everybody's, it's happening. And I love that my sister Candace wants to keep going and bring the hide here, and we want to get the leather happening with that hide. So it's just so many great things. But like I said, going back to that feeling of joy, like, it was a weird feeling, like, is this okay? Like, am I allowed to be happy? And that's like years of being oppressed and assimilated, and I don't want to live like that anymore. I want to be able to go do and be a part of creation and do the things I'm supposed to. I naturally do. And so with that, like, I mean, there's just so many people that come to the table. The list is so long, Tom. Like, the people that have been coming through here. It's very humbling. It's very humbling. And to be able to feel that love from the people that I know and complete strangers is just so amazing. Like, I wish the whole world could feel this. Like, and it goes back to living in harmony and how we took care of each other through that clan system. And if anything, I think a lot of us, the majority of across Turtle Island, know that the clan system is what needs to come back. And I'm thinking and I'm hoping in within a very short amount of time that we can get that back, and there's no reason why we can't. If this is like it's in our DNA, our blood DNA, to work like that. And I could feel that, like, for not knowing too much about my culture growing up, like, giving away and helping people, that just always felt good with nothing in return. Like you didn't have to pay me to help my people, kind of thing. It just felt great and to do that. But so coming into my adulthood and motherhood, there's so many things, being a single mom plus combat veteran, that I've had to juggle with through the years, and maintain somewhat stable mental health has been quite the juggle. But I'm grateful to be able to practice cultivation and, the agricultural part of growing food. Like, I had dreamt it all these years, but being able to do it, it's such an amazing. I come from a long line of veterans and farmers over on Manitoulin Island, so I feel it. It's great. It's everything you want, from harm reduction to being able to give away free food to people. It's just, I love it, and I just want to be able to stay feeling happy like that, and not the stresses of taxes and the tax man and the sheriff, and so eventually my voice is being heard, but it's taking this huge collective of a group that I'm beyond grateful, like I said, on behalf of my children and the next 7 generations. Like, my heart is full, and I give it all to Creator too, and all my relations.